Ladies and gentlemen, life does not wait for permission. It does not slow down because you are afraid, confused, or unready. One day you are planning your dreams, and the next day you realize time has already moved ahead without you. Life is not asking how long you will survive, it is asking how deeply you will live. We spend so much of our life preparing to live that we forget to actually live. We save moments for one day, we postpone happiness for someday, and we delay ourselves for a future that is never promised. But life is not a rehearsal. This moment right now is the stage, the spotlight, and the chance. Travel is not just about places on a map, it is about places inside you that you have never visited. Living is not about existing between responsibilities. It is about feeling alive, even while carrying them. When you move beyond fear and comfort, you don't lose yourself. You finally meet yourself. Life is short, not to scare you, but to wake you up. Short enough to stop waiting. Short enough to choose courage over comfort. Short enough to remind you that memories matter more than possessions, and experiences shape you more than excuses ever will. Time is not waiting for you. Time is the most honest teacher you will ever meet. It does not argue with you, it does not negotiate, and it does not explain itself. It simply moves. While you are waiting for courage, it is passing. While you are doubting your worth, it is passing. While you are telling yourself later, time quietly turns later into never. Every second that slips through your hands carries a lesson you either learn or lose, and life never pauses long enough for you to catch up with regret. We often believe we have more time than we do, and that belief becomes our greatest illusion. We think we will start living once we feel ready, once we feel confident, once everything feels safe and planned. But readiness is not a destination. It is a decision. Time does not reward hesitation, and it does not punish mistakes. It simply responds to movement. When you choose action over fear, time becomes your ally instead of your enemy. There are moments that will never return, conversations that will never be repeated, and versions of you that exist only once. Time teaches you this quietly, through missed chances and silent goodbyes. It shows you that the cost of waiting is often higher than the cost of trying. And slowly, you realize that life is not asking you to be perfect, it is asking you to be present. When you understand that time is not waiting, you stop living on autopilot. You stop postponing joy and delaying dreams. You start valuing mornings, appreciating movement, and choosing experiences that make you feel alive. You begin to see that every moment is an invitation not to rush, but to live with intention, awareness, and courage that does not wait for permission. Travel expands the soul before it expands the mind. Travel begins long before you reach a destination. It starts the moment you decide to leave what is familiar and step into what is unknown. When you move away from routine, the noise inside you becomes quieter and the voice of your soul becomes clearer. Travel strips you of labels and reminds you that you are more than the roles you perform every day. Every place you visit carries a lesson that books cannot teach. New streets show you that there are countless ways to live a life. New faces remind you that pain, hope, and resilience speak a universal language. Travel humbles you because it shows you how small your worries are in a world so vast, and at the same time, how important your presence is within it. When you travel, comfort dissolves and growth begins. You learn to trust yourself in unfamiliar situations, to adapt without control, and to find beauty in unpredictability. The journey challenges your assumptions and expands your emotional capacity. You stop seeing the world through fear and start seeing it through curiosity, empathy, and wonder. Travel is not about escaping life. It is about reconnecting with it. It reminds you that the world is alive, breathing, and waiting to meet you. Each journey becomes a mirror, reflecting parts of you that daily life keeps hidden. And slowly, without realizing it, you return not just with photographs and memories, but with a deeper understanding of who you are and who you are becoming. Living is a choice, not a circumstance. Living fully is not reserved for the lucky or the fearless. It belongs to those who decide, again and again, to show up despite uncertainty. Circumstances may shape your path, but they do not define your capacity to live with meaning. Even in limitation, there is choice. Even in struggle, there is agency. Life does not ask for perfection, it asks for participation. Many people survive their days, but never truly live them. They wake up, fulfill obligations, and fall asleep without ever feeling present. Living means allowing yourself to feel joy, pain, curiosity, and hope without numbing your heart. It means choosing awareness over distraction and courage over comfort, even when life feels heavy. To live is to take responsibility for your inner world. You may not control everything that happens to you, but you control how deeply you engage with it. Living is found in small moments, a deep breath, a bold decision, a step taken despite fear. It is not loud or dramatic. It is intentional and honest. When you choose to live, you stop waiting for life to change and start changing how you meet life. You begin to create meaning instead of searching for it. Living becomes a daily practice, not a destination. And with each choice you make to stay awake to your own existence, life responds with depth, color, and a quiet sense of purpose that continues unfolding. Comfort zones are beautiful cages. Comfort feels safe, but safety can quietly steal your potential. Inside comfort, growth slows, dreams soften, and curiosity fades. It is a beautiful place, but it is not where transformation happens. Comfort convinces you that staying still is peace, even when your soul is begging for movement. Every dream you have exists outside your comfort zone. Fear guards the door, not to stop you, but to test your readiness. When you step beyond what feels familiar, you meet resistance, but you also meet strength you didn't know you had. Discomfort is not a sign that you are failing, it is a sign that you are expanding. Growth is rarely comfortable. It asks you to unlearn, to release control, and to trust yourself without guarantees. The unknown is intimidating because it removes certainty, but it also removes limits. When you stay too long in comfort, you trade possibility for predictability, and slowly your world becomes smaller. Stepping out of comfort does not mean reckless risk. It means intentional courage. It means listening to the quiet voice inside you that knows there is more. When you honor that voice, life begins to respond with opportunities, lessons, and transformations that only exist beyond the familiar. Waiting for those willing to step forward. Memories are the true measure of wealth. We often chase success as if it can be counted, stored, or displayed. But real wealth is invisible. It lives in moments that changed you, in places that taught you, and in people who left a mark on your soul. Memories are not possessions, yet they are the only things that stay with you when everything else fades. Experiences shape your identity in ways material things never can. A journey that challenged you, a conversation that healed you, a moment that made you feel alive. These are the riches that define a life well lived. Memories give meaning to time and depth to existence. When you prioritize experiences, you begin to collect stories instead of regrets. You stop measuring life by milestones and start measuring it by moments of presence and connection. Each memory becomes a reminder that you were here, that you lived, that you felt deeply and honestly. At the end of the journey, it is not what you accumulated that matters, but what you experienced and who you became along the way. Memories carry emotion, growth, and truth. They are the silent witnesses of a life lived with intention, courage, and openness, continuing to shape you long after the moment has passed. In the end, life does not ask you to rush, but it asks you to wake up. It asks you to notice the days as they pass, the chances as they appear, and the quiet voice inside you that longs for more than routine. When you understand that life is short, you stop postponing yourself, you stop waiting for the perfect moment, and start honoring the present one. You begin to choose movement over fear, experience over hesitation, and courage over comfort, allowing life to meet you where you are willing to show up. Traveling and living are not luxuries. They are expressions of gratitude for being alive. Every step taken, every place explored, every memory created becomes a reminder that you were brave enough to live beyond limits. Life expands when you do, and meaning grows when you choose presence over pause. In the end, what remains is not the length of your life, but the depth with which you lived it, the love you allowed in, and the moments you dared to say yes to along the way.